Hi everyone, welcome to the Skeins of Dreams knitting podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. This is my knitting podcast where I've been journaling my knitting through these videos that I'm putting out every couple of weeks. I'm coming to you from my home in Buffalo, New York. I've been living in the US for the last 9 years. I'm originally from India, and this is episode 6. Welcome. If you're new here, I have a lot of other videos that you could check out, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me and for encouraging me and supporting me while I talk on and on and on about my knitting. I am so thankful for all of you for leaving such beautiful comments on all my videos. You're actually enabling me. I'm knitting more, and I'm waiting to record these videos to share all my knitting with everyone, and it's been really amazing, and the welcome and the response I'm getting is truly so humbling, so amazing, and thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you a lot, and it's definitely enabling me to knit more, and you all know we don't really need to extend our queues any further, but it's happening and I'm loving every minute of it. So thank you so much. It's been a couple of weeks since I recorded. There is a lot to talk about, mostly because I was on vacation last week, and if you're on Instagram, you've been following my stories as I was sharing a bit about my vacation. So I'm going to talk about my vacation to the Smoky Mountains in this episode, and I have some works in progress to share. I don't really have a finished object, but I have a lot of knitting going on, and mostly I've not been able to finish anything just because I was on vacation and I didn't really get as much knitting time as I usually do. And you'll see some of the projects and you'll realize I could have finished this if I had like a day or two more. But anyway, so that's what's planned for this episode. And I also will share the winner of the giveaway that I was hosting. I think a couple of episodes ago, I had a giveaway on YouTube, and I picked the winner. The giveaway ended November 15th, and I picked the winner on November 16th early in the morning. So the giveaway winner will be announced in this episode, and I think that's about it. But if you have seen my other videos, the list seems short, but I go on for a very long time. So that's what's planned for today, and it's Friday, just after Thanksgiving. I'm forgetting the date. Oh, November 26th. It's Friday, November 26th. I've actually just returned from my vacation this morning, like almost afternoon. It's been a few hours, and I decided that I'll record the podcast today, and I'll edit and try to upload it as soon as I can. So I have Saturday, Sunday just to myself to have a vacation from my vacation. So thank you so much for joining, and as usual, I have chapters on my videos, so you can jump forward to whichever one you're most interested in, or stick around and listen to me talk the whole time. So let's talk about what I'm wearing. So this is the season sweater by Ozetta. Ozetta, the designer is, her name is Haley. She's the designer behind Ozetta Knitwear. She has a beautiful website, and she has beautiful patterns that she designs and publishes. Her patterns have a really clean and crisp look to them, and they're very she makes a lot of garments very neutral colors, and they just look beautiful. And I had the opportunity to test knit this beautiful sweater. It's a half fisherman's rib stitch. and I really like how the sweater turned out. It's very squishy, so it does look a little bulky, but this is a worsted weight yarn, and it's a simple raglan, but the half fisherman's rib gives it its like it jazzes, it gives it its character. Sorry, I can't really talk today, it seems like. But yeah, so I knit this sweater in Dererum Natura. The yarn is called Gilead. The colorway is caramel. I know this is a very popular colorway. I have a friend who lives in Japan who knit a sweater in the same color for her daughter, I think. I'm not gonna say her name unless she approves of it. And then Ely, who's the Thoughtful Knitter on YouTube, is currently test knitting a jumper in the same yarn, in the same colorway, and it's a beautiful cable jumper. And I really like how it's turning out. And I saw Ely's episode, the latest episode, where she talks about it. Also, on a side note, the Thoughtful Knitter is a beautiful podcast, and I really enjoy watching Ely's knits. She has a very beautiful aesthetic, and also just her garments, they always look so clean and pristine and everything. I really enjoy watching her knits, and she has amazing taste in patterns and everything. And she recently knit the crofter's cap, and it's a beautiful color work hat, and I really feel like knitting it now after watching her podcast and looking at her version of it. It's very beautiful. Yeah, so I went off on a tangent, a good tangent. But yeah, so this is the season sweater, and I think you'll see me wearing it in a lot of pictures that I'm going to show when I talk about my trip, and hence I thought I'd wear it today so you can see it, and I can actually talk about it before showing it to you in the rest of the video. So that's what I'm wearing. I don't have any finished objects today, but we can talk about my works in progress. And I have a few works in progress. I was working on them while I was on vacation, so some of them got done more than others, and some I didn't touch since I left for my vacation. So anyway, the first thing I'd like to show is I was working on a holiday sweater for Biljit, who's Mr. Skeins of Dreams, by the way. I'm not gonna keep calling him husband. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Skeins of Dreams. And oh, am I in the middle of the row? I think I am in the middle of the row. This is terrible podcaster etiquette, but I'm just gonna show this. So this is the zipper sweater Man by PetiteKnit. I'm knitting it in Peace Fleece worsted yarn. So this is just a simple, I'll actually put a picture of how the zipper sweater looks. So I'm knitting it in this beautiful green yarn, and as you can see, I'm in the middle of a row here. It's a simple raglan sweater, which it has a zipper that goes halfway through the sweater, but I'm actually knitting it as a cardigan, so I can put a full zipper from the top to bottom and make it almost like a jacket. So when I showed it the last time, I think I had just started raglan and creases, but now I finished the raglan and I'm knitting on the body, so that's where I am. I put the sleeves on this knitting Barber cords that I purchased recently. I just really love these. These are silicone cords that actually can just go onto the tips of your needles, and then you can pull your stitches. Oops. But then you can pull your stitches on these cords, and you can use these to just hold your live stitches until you come back to them. You can also use these cords to put your sweater itself on like a longer cord as you try it on. So these have become really popular recently, and I purchased them I think a few weeks ago, and I'm really happy with those. But anyway, I was talking about the sweater. I started talking about the knitting cords. But yeah, so this is the zipper sweater, and I am knitting it in Peace Fleece worsted. This colorway is called Hemlock. Last episode I spoke about this as I was talking about the sweater as well. So it's a very beautiful lush green. I don't know how the lighting is showing the sweater, like how the lighting is with the color. It's only like 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, but it's because it's like winter's coming, so so it's kind of become a little darker outside. But that's why I have a lamp going here, and it's kind of hitting it with a lot of yellow light. But that's the color of the sweater, and this is going to be the holiday sweater for Baljeet. So that's my progress on the zipper sweater. And then I was knitting. Oops, sorry. I was knitting on a holiday sweater for myself. I am making the Ferie sweater by Susie Haumann, and I actually didn't work on it at all as I was on vacation. All I did on this is I'm doing the raglan. I still have to go a bit further on the raglan increases. I actually put this on knitting Barber cords as well because I was trying on the raglan, but that's how much progress I've made on it. I'm knitting this one in Rowan Alpaca Classic yarn. This color is called Copper Clay, and the Ferie sweater, and I'll put a picture here, is actually a Danish pattern which as I speak about in my previous episode. I got this book called Strickwear Dag, which means knit every day. I got this book from, it's a Danish book by Susie Haumann, and she has this beautiful sweater in it, and I'm knitting it in these two colors. This is Copper Clay and this is Feather Grey Melange. And I've not reached the part where I start the color work to add this color in, and I'm just finishing up the raglan. Like I said, while I was on vacation, I didn't really work on this. I was working on Baljeet's sweater, and then I was working on another project which I will talk about shortly. So yeah, so that's the progress on my Ferie sweater. And the last work in progress I want to talk about today is I'm making vanilla socks, basically. Every year I've been trying to make a pair of holiday socks for myself, and I was doing there is a knit along being held by Kate of the Hawthorne Cottage Craft, which is called the Lucky Dip Lucky Dip knit along, basically, in which Kate had started this at the beginning of 2021, where you would put a lot of different single skeins into a basket, and you'd pick one skein every month, and you'd knit with whatever that skein was. Like, it wasn't limited to just socks. You could put like a DK skein and then make a hat out of it or something like that. So it was up to us to use whatever yarn we had in stash and then kind of make it interesting, so we could knit a different one skein project every month. And I was religiously doing this from January 2021 till I think I did it until August, and then after that my gift knitting craze started and I really couldn't keep up with it, so I kind of let it go. But I did knit a lot of socks this year, but as December is approaching, I realized I need to start knitting a pair of holiday socks for myself, and that's a tradition, so I have to do it. So another disclaimer or confession I have is that I have never knit anything except for vanilla socks and Hermione's everyday socks. Hermione's everyday socks is a free pattern on Ravelry, which is one of my favorite sock patterns, and other than that I knit a vanilla sock, and I'll show you what I mean by a vanilla sock. So this is my self-striping vanilla sock. It's I cast on 60 stitches on a US 1 needle, and I do a 3x1 rib for the leg, and I do a heel. Usually it's either this is the, oh, I'm forgetting its name completely. Oh, Fish Lips Kiss heel. I blanked there for a minute. This is the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I use this a lot for self-striping yarn. And if it's not a self-striping yarn, I end up using the Eye of Partridge heel, and those are the two heels that I work with. So since this is self-striping, I use the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I just do the 60 stitches. I do 3x1 rib for the leg, and once I do the heel, I only do 3x1 rib for the top of the foot, and then the bottom of the foot is plain stockinette. And this isn't blocked or anything, I just put it on a sock blocker just to show it to you. And then I do like regular toe decrease and then Kitchener stitch to graft it at the end. But this is my vanilla sock recipe that works for my foot, and I use this every single time. Oh, and you can see the top one first repeat is a 1x1 rib, and then I move to a 3x1 rib over here. So 3x1 rib is just knit 3 purl 1, and I really like the ribbed effect, that it kind of makes the sock fit better, I feel. So that's usually what I do for my socks. And so I don't think I spoke about the yarn at all. I'm totally out of practice. That's not even true. Like, I record every 2 weeks. I'm just like totally out of sorts today. So this yarn is one of my favorite self-striping dyers. She's called Nomadic Yarns. The dyer is Ashley, and she has very beautiful colorways, and I really love her self-striping yarn. This colorway is actually called Yuletide. I think I have her oops. So this is the tag, Nomadic Yarns, and the colorway is Yuletide. This is Brit sock, that's this base, which is 400 yards on 100 grams, and it's an 80% superwash Blueface Leicester and 20% nylon. And I really love Ashley's colorways, and this is very beautiful, very Christmassy. It almost actually reminds me of the Nutcracker, just, you know, the Nutcracker, his face and everything, and then the green and red are his clothes and all. So I don't know why, it just reminds me of the Nutcracker, but of course it's called Yuletide. I made a mistake with this sock actually. So whenever I do the heel on a self-striping yarn, I come up to the heel, and then I'll back up. So I wind yarn into this kind of a cake, and I knit from the outside. And when I have to do the heel for a self-striping, I pull the yarn, the end at the center, I pull it out from the center, and that's what I use to knit my heel. And what that does is it prevents a disruption in the striping when I actually knit the heel. But I was knitting this in the car ride while we were driving, and I completely forgot that I usually switch my yarn and use the center to make the heel. So I just continued with the same, with the side pulling end, and I continued doing the heel. So what that did was, if you see here between these two reds, first of all, the red is not supposed to be that wide, right? Like each stripe is just like 3 or 4 rows like this. So it actually added one green row in the center on the top, and then it kind of repeated the red. So this kind of disrupted the stripes a little. Honestly, I don't really care. I don't mind socks with like a little variation, or I even don't mind like mismatched socks or anything. Like, it doesn't bother me. I actually like a little bit of I call it organized chaos. So I like a little bit of organized chaos in my knitting, especially my socks, because I feel like socks you can just do whatever you feel like. No one's gonna notice anyway. You're just wearing them on your feet, and I mean, I love crazy colors for socks as well. And then if there's a small disruption in the stripe pattern, it doesn't really bother me. But to show you how this looks as opposed to when I pull from the center for the heel, this is the second sock I'm working on. I still have it on my needles because I've not finished. I am a magic looper, by the way. I don't do DPNs. I tried DPNs once. It didn't really work. I feel like the needles are too small, and I really can't get my way around them. So I rely on magic looping. So anyway, this sock, if you see, that's where the heel is, but the stripe is undisturbed because I actually stopped when I started the heel. I stopped knitting from the side pull, and I actually took out the center end, the end from the center to knit the heel. So then I did the heel and then continued with the side pull for the rest of the sock. So it doesn't disturb the stripe pattern. The heel, of course, looks a little different, but I mean, no one's gonna notice the heel. And from the front, the sock looks perfect. There's no disruption in the striping. So I wanted to show how it's different when you continue knitting the heel in the same yarn versus when you actually knit the heel using a different end, so that the other stripe pattern does not get disturbed. Also, if you notice, my stripes are a little off because I started with a different color for the second one. Again, like I mentioned, it doesn't bother me. I don't mind mismatched socks at all. I actually love that a lot. I feel like every sock has its character. So it makes me laugh that, you know, I have socks which basically look the same, but they really aren't, and you have to pay close attention to actually notice the differences. So anyway, so this is my vanilla sock that I'm knitting in Nomadic Yarns self-striping, and I'm really enjoying it. This was the project I was working on while we were driving around. We drove around a lot this past week. So while Biljit was driving, I was knitting away on this sock, and every time we were indoors somewhere and I was knitting and I wanted to knit, I was picking up his sweater. So those are the only two things that I actually worked on this past week. So that's actually all the knitting content I have for today, and it's not as much as I usually show, but it's just because I was on vacation that I didn't really get enough time to knit on anything else. But yeah, those are my works in progress. So it's giveaway winner announcement time. I had a giveaway going in a couple episodes ago. I think it was episode 4, and I was giving away a beautiful skein of sock yarn. I had 3 options, and you could pick which one you liked the most, and also a beautiful sock bag or a knitting project bag by the beautiful Syster bags. Heather and Hillary make beautiful project bags, and they generously gave me one bag to give away. And so the price for the giveaway that I was hosting is that one bag and also a skein of sock yarn, which I shared with you, and I think I'm just gonna put a picture here. So the giveaway ended November 15th, and I picked a winner on November 16th at around 6:30 in the morning or something. So I'm going to put the name on the screen as well, but the giveaway winner is Charlene Riggs. Congratulations, Charlene, and I'm going to read out Charlene's comment here. So happy I found your podcast. I love your knitted garments and the way you share your content. Saw you have 4 episodes and already 1,000 subscribers. That is awesome. I hope you enjoyed Diwali and I'm looking forward to seeing pictures. Love the sweater you're wearing. The color looks great on you. For the giveaway, I like option 1, the blue. Take care of yourself. That's such a beautiful comment, Charlene. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching my videos and leaving a comment. And I think you liked, I think option 1 was the Fleece and Harmony yarn, the blue one. It's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. And please either leave me a comment on how to reach you, or I actually have an email ID for my podcast. The email ID is skeins-of-dreams-knits@gmail.com, and I'm gonna put it on the screen here. So do send me an email with the winner in like the subject or something, and I'm going to and I can get in touch with you about your address and how to ship it and all of that. So congratulations. Thank you so much to all of you who participated in the giveaway, and I'm definitely going to have more. So, so I love sharing my stash, and I'm definitely going to do more of that. But I had such a good time hosting the giveaway because the comments that I got on that video were amazing, and I read every single one of them, and I learned that I can respond to them without it affecting the a random comment picker. So that was perfect. So I responded to everyone, I spoke to everyone, and thank you so much for participating, and congratulations, Charlene. So let's talk about my vacation. So last Friday, I think that was the 19th of November, we left in the afternoon around 4 p.m. Our time to go to New Jersey because my cousin got engaged on the following Saturday. So it was a 6-hour drive to New Jersey, and we drove straight to my uncle's house. And that night, I think we were the last to reach there. The house was already like, there was a lot of bustling activity going on. Everyone was getting ready for the next day, and they had a henna artist come, and she put henna on everyone's hands. So most of Indian wedding related festivities, or even a lot of other festivities, one of the very favorite traditions to follow is to actually apply henna on your hand. It's like it's a beautiful expression of just art and culture, and also just, you know, I think there is a saying that the darker the color of your henna is, that means your husband or your better half actually loves you that much. I think that's really silly, but I really like it for the designs that they put on your hands and everything are so beautiful, and it's like an added, like a jewelry, like, you know how you wear jewelry to enhance, like you wear earrings or your necklace or something, and henna is a beautiful way of like decorating your hands, and it looks really pretty, and I really love that tradition. So on Friday night they were actually applying henna, because you're supposed to apply it and then let it sit for like an hour at least, and the bride actually has to sometimes keep it on all night. So you apply it at night and then you rub it or wash it off in the morning, and that's what, the longer it sits on your hands, the more the color comes out, that exuberant or bright color, like the color is still always red, but the darker the red appears if you leave it on longer. So I got henna done on Friday night. I wasn't really planning on it, but the henna artist was still around by the time we reached. So I got it done when I was there. And then the next day, the festivities started first thing in the morning. I think we reached my uncle's house at like 9 a.m. and there was breakfast, and all my cousins were there, and we hadn't seen each other in almost 3 or 4 years. 2 years mostly because of COVID. We haven't seen anyone in 2 years, but before that a lot of my cousins had babies and all of that, so they were very busy and I couldn't really see all of them. So this was an event after a really long time that we all were able to come together for, so it was really nice meeting everyone. And of course then just before lunch we had the traditional engagement ceremony, and the groom's family was there, and then the groom to be, and then my on my cousin side, we were the first cousins were all there to attend the engagement, and it was a very nice and sweet ceremony. It was at home, so it was nothing too fancy. It was just at home. Everyone did get dressed up a lot so that was fancy, but we had a really good time. There was good food, and I think by lunch or so we were all done, and we went back to our hotel rooms, took some rest, and then went back to my uncle's house for dinner, just because we're already there, so we just got together for dinner. And I think that's when we saw each other off. And the wedding is actually next August, so I think we'll all meet again next year. But it was really nice meeting everyone, and we had a good time. So that was Saturday night, and that's when the engagement thing ended. And on Sunday we actually drove from New Jersey to North Carolina. We were staying I had booked an Airbnb in a small town called Haumann in North Carolina. It's 1 hour west of a city called Asheville. And I had booked a log cabin for us for I think 3 nights. It was Sunday night to Thursday morning. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's 4 nights. So I booked the cabin for 4 nights. And the drive was really long. It was an 11-hour drive from New Jersey to Almond, North Carolina, and we were exhausted because we had done the 6-hour drive to New Jersey on Friday, and then on Sunday we did the 11-hour drive to Almond, and we were totally exhausted. And I think at one point during the drive we were wondering if this was a good decision at all because I'd planned the trip, but I didn't think that it would take us so long and that we would be so tired. Of course I knew it would take us so long, but I just didn't account for how tired we would be, not just from the driving but also from the festivities and hanging out with everyone and talking and actually being busy on the Saturday before our trip. But anyway, we made it. We made it safe and sound. We shared the drive. So Biljit drove for the first 5 hours or so, and then I took over, and then I drove the rest of the way to our cabin. Once we got there, we did nothing. We just went to bed. Monday, we were still kind of exhausted from the drive, so we didn't want to do anything physically taxing. So we just drove around in the Smoky Mountains National Park. It was so beautiful. I know it was at the end of the fall season, so the trees had lost a lot of the leaves and everything, but I still feel that every single season is so beautiful. Like the trees look different, the landscape looks different, the mountains look different, and it's so beautiful. I think we saw elk in the national park, and I had never seen elk before, so that was really fun. There was like a big herd of them. Are they called a herd? I think maybe. There was a big herd of them in the fields, and they were just grazing very lazily and didn't care that all of these people were clicking away pictures and everything. But it was really nice. I think we saw that the first like we left and we reached the national park, and like within like 10 minutes we saw so many elk, and that was amazing. I think we got lucky because the rest of the days we didn't see that herd again. It was just the first day that we saw. And we drove around the national park, and it was so beautiful, and I took a lot of videos, we took a lot of pictures, and we had a really nice drive. And actually we drove through the park to go to a town called Gatlinburg, which is in Tennessee. And Gatlinburg is a touristy town, I would say. Like downtown Gatlinburg is where most of the tourists who go to the Smoky Mountains they visit. So we went there not actually to go to the town or anything, but we went there because I had looked up a yarn store. So I wanted to go to the Smoky Mountains Spinnery, which is a beautifully quaint store in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I had looked up on Google that that was like an hour and 30 minutes away from our log cabin. So I really wanted to go there. And so that's what we planned. We planned to drive through the Smokies and then stop at the yarn store so I could check out the yarn store. And then after that, we wanted to get some lunch. So I say lunch, but this was around 3 or 4 in the evening, so it was kind of a late lunch, early dinner. But that's how we are. We don't. I don't know if we ate anything that morning. Oh, we did. We had some food that we had packed, so we ate something before we left. So it was not really bad. Like we ate an early dinner at 4. But anyway, the yarn store. The yarn store was really beautiful. It's called Smoky Mountains Spinnery. They have a lot of spinning, weaving supplies, knitting supplies, and I'm going to share some videos here. But Nancy, who's the store owner, I asked her if it was okay for me to show some of the footage that I recorded while I was in the store, and she very generously said that I could use it, and so I'm showing all of that over here. But the store is so beautiful. They actually had a fully needle felted doll, I want to say. The name is Miss Ruby. So she was sitting at the front of the store on like this loom. I think that's the weaving loom. But yeah, like the entire doll has been needle felted and she looks very lifelike. I think you would be scared if you suddenly, like, you know, saw her in the dark sitting on your dining table or something. So Miss Ruby was there. And then the store of course has beautiful selection of yarns, and I think they even have like wool scarves and everything, just like wool fabric, and I think those were scarves. I didn't really touch them much. I was recording the videos and then I started touching the yarn, and then I didn't have any headspace for anything else. But the store is pretty big. They had a huge table where I think people could sit and, you know, have knit nights or something. And I think even classes, I'm sure they offer some classes. But yeah, the store was really beautiful and I'm so glad that I visited. And I did end up buying some things, and I'm going to share that in the stash acquisitions section. So after we finished checking out the yarn store, we went to get some dinner, I guess. We got some pizza, and we got some, we ordered a lot, so we had the leftovers for late dinner and next snacks for the next morning. I guess we don't, it's not really breakfast items, you know. If you have pizza for lunch, breakfast, is it called a breakfast? I don't know. Anyway, we had pizza for breakfast the next day. So after that we went back to the cabin, and I think we just hung out. So the cabin had a hot tub, and so every chance I got, I was in the hot tub. It was perfect. This is the first time I've ever been in a hot tub, and I didn't really get the whole point of it until I actually tried it, because it was kind of cold outside. It was like 30°F or 0°C outside, but the hot tub, you could get it as hot as like 102°F or like 30°C, and the water would be that warm, and it was perfect. And all I did was just sit in the hot tub and just like looked at all the trees and all the scenery outside the cabin, and I was in bliss. After having a really busy 1 month of work, like it was ridiculously crazy before the vacation started, I was really looking forward to just chilling and doing nothing, and that's what we ended up doing. So every chance I got, I was in the hot tub. And I think we also watched a lot of movies. So Baljeet and I are extreme movie buffs. Like, we watch every single movie there is to watch. In my movie standards are quite low. Like, the movie has to be really, really, really bad for me to not watch it. I'll watch anything. I don't know, I like watching stories. Like, even if it's badly made, I like critiquing them and trying to think, oh, if I had made this, or if I had acted in this, what would I have done differently? I know it's really silly, but that's what I end up doing when I watch movies. So we watched quite a few movies while we were on the holiday. But anyway, that was the Monday, so that was still day one. And then the next day, Tuesday, we actually decided to go on a hike. Baljeet had looked up this beautiful trail called the Alum Cave Trail. It was a trail that's, I mean, the larger portion of if you did the longer trail, you would go to this peak called the Peregrine Peak, but we didn't plan to go all the way to the peak. We just did a portion of it, which was 4.75 miles there and back. So the round trip was 4.75 miles. It was a beautiful trail. Like, there was this creek flowing the entire way, and we got a lot of pictures of the creek and everything, and very beautiful. Of course, like, hiking is all about the nature, right? So we really enjoyed that. And then as you went higher up, we did have some issues with it being very icy, because the weather was like 0°C, so 30°F or something. So the ice was there, but it was just about melting, so it was very slippery at places. So those were like challenging bits. And in fact, when we got to the top, oh, you see Oreo. He's making an appearance on the podcast for the first time, I think. I don't know if he's been here. I think you've seen Mango before, but you've not seen Oreo. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when we went or reached the top of the mountain, or towards the end of our hike, there was actually ice that had formed, like icicles had formed on the cliff above. And so while we were climbing, the icicles were falling on the people climbing, basically. So we had slabs of ice actually falling down, and it nearly missed a few people that we saw, like who were coming up or going down, and the ice just fell near their feet or something. They missed by a few inches, I would say. So it was actually getting dangerous. The icicles were melting because of the sun coming out and the temperature just being on the cusp of like ice and water. So it got a little dangerous towards the top, but it was fine. Like we sat there and it was almost like a cave inside which you could sit. So I'll put pictures of that here. But then once we reached the top, we took a short break, we had some snacks. We then decided to leave because it was kind of getting dangerous and the frequency at which the ice slabs were falling was increasing. So anyway, so we left the top and then we started our descent and we came back down. I think the entire round trip hike took us around 3.5 to 4 hours. I think Baljeet would have done it in like 2 hours, but I slowed him down. I don't think I'm in the best of shape since COVID, but he goes to the gym a lot, so he is definitely in shape for it. And I felt bad that I was slowing him down, but it's okay. It's the experience that we were there for. But yeah, so our hike was very successful. We were extremely tired afterwards, and we decided to just grab some junk food from the gas stations and go back to our cabin and sit in the hot tub. So my vacation was totally about the hot tub, definitely. But we went back and we actually got some firewood at the gas station and we set up small campfire or bonfire. What do you call it? We set up a small bonfire. It was very beautiful. I just love setting up a fire and then just, you know, watching the flames and the embers and the coal that builds up at the end. And it was really beautiful. I think Baljeet, he loves like setting up a fire as well, and I lazed around in the hot tub. That's what we did after our hiking trip. And that was Tuesday. So then on Wednesday, I think we were just like exhausted from the hike and everything, and I really didn't feel like doing much. We are generally not the touristy kinds. We go to a place and we just kind of hang out, and we like to book a nice Airbnb and we just hang out over there, laze around. I knit a lot and we don't end up doing a lot of the touristy things, and we didn't want to do anything indoors because, you know, COVID is still like we're still being careful and everything. So we either wanted to do something outdoors or just like stay in our cabin by ourselves. And by the way, this is Oreo. Hi. The cats have been alone for a week, so I'm not surprised that he hopped onto me while I was recording because they've missed us. I've missed them too. I felt really bad about leaving them and going on the trip. I had two very wonderful people. One, my neighbor I was talking. I think I'll talk about her in the stash acquisitions. But my neighbor and another very good friend of mine, they were taking care of the cats. My neighbor was coming every morning to feed them, and then my friend was coming every evening to feed them. But they didn't play with them. Like, I think they missed us. And you know how cats are, like you have to play with them in a very specific way. Like if you play with them anything different from how they want to play, they're not gonna do it. So they were not interested in playing with my friend or with my neighbor, and they seemed a little sad, I think, towards the end, and that made me really sad. But anyway, we came back today and they've been playing since we got back. So they're definitely happy, and that's why I'm not surprised that Oreo actually hopped up on me while I'm sitting on the couch, because that's his favorite thing to do. So I did know that this weekend my responsibility is to be a cat bed. I don't mind that at all. Of course I don't, like I miss them so much. Anyway, I was saying on Wednesday, we didn't really do much. Again, I was in the hot tub for the first half of the day, and then we set up the bonfire for the second half, and we just sat in front of the fire. We went to like a local supermarket, got some food to eat, and then that's what we did. So it was a lot of resting, and then we did have a good hike that we went on. And by the way, the hike was rated moderate on all trails, and I think it's an app that we follow or use for mapping out our hikes and everything. And a few months ago we went to the Adirondack Mountains here in New York, and we did a hike that was rated as hard, and I didn't know that, and I didn't have fun. I'm going to talk about that in a whole other episode. That was a whole other thing with me. I didn't really enjoy that hike at all. We got lost and it took us forever to finish it. So we are kind of backing up and doing moderate hikes. I'm not that much of an outdoorsy person. Of course, I'm a knitter. I would rather be sitting inside and knitting. But I do enjoy nature, and when I went for camping during Rhinebeck, I really enjoyed that. And I do enjoy hikes in general, but I told Baljeet that we should probably do moderate hikes for a while before we can move on to hard hikes. I don't think I'm in the best shape for hard hikes as well. But anyway, so that was our trip to the Smoky Mountains. And I hope I've put pictures and videos and stuff while I'm talking about it. I just went on, and I have to edit this somehow when I'm done. And after the Smokies, on Thursday morning, we left. Thursday was just yesterday. Today is 26th, so on 25th November, we left the Smokies and we drove to Pittsburgh. That's where my professor and his wife live. So we reached Pittsburgh at 7 p.m. in the evening. It was a 9-hour drive from Haumann, North Carolina, and we reached their place. And of course, they had just finished Thanksgiving dinner with. So they have a very fluid Thanksgiving. They usually invite everyone who doesn't have a place to go for the vacation. So all students or neighbors, whoever doesn't have a plan already, gets to come to theirs for Thanksgiving. And they're a very sweet couple, and it's just how they roll. So they had finished dinner with multiple groups, people were coming, people were leaving, so it was a very like fluid Thanksgiving that they usually do. So we got there a little later at the end, and we sat down and talked to them for a long time. And of course, then I gifted my professor the vest. And oh my god, he was so happy. I think he was shaking like a little kid. It was so precious to watch that. He really liked the vest, and the moment he saw it, he was wearing a shirt with like a sweater on top. He immediately took his sweater off and he put on the vest, and he was so happy. The vest was actually 4 inches longer than the pattern had suggested, and that was on purpose because his wife told me that he likes longer sweaters. So she gave me the measurements and I knitted to the measurements, but all the time I was like doubting it. I was like, do they really want it this long? And so when he wore it, it is long on him. So I asked him that, do you want me to make this shorter? He's like, no, I love this. This is the length my mother would knit me vests in. So he was so happy with it, and it was so amazing to see him so thrilled with the knitted vest. And then I gave him the paper. Oh my god. So as you expect, he immediately flipped to the back and he's like, do you have references here? I'm like, of course I do have references. How can I give you a paper without references? And he saw one reference that actually, caught his eye, because most of them were just about the yarn and just, you know, regular stuff that you would expect. But there was one reference that I knew would stick out because it was on construction and on buildings, and I'm going to share the paper with all of you. So I'll have a link below in the show notes to a Google Doc or something where I've put up the paper. So the last reference is what I'm talking about, is a seismic reference, and he was wondering how come I use that in like a knitting paper. So if you want to find out, you have to click the link below and check out the paper as well. But he was really pleased with the paper and he was laughing. He was like, you definitely had fun with this. And I was like, yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with it. So the vest was definitely successful, and I'll put a picture of him wearing it with me and with his wife as well. So I mean, I think that was the highlight of the entire trip. I definitely feel so, like it was such a nice trip, and it was so good to see them. And that was yesterday night, so we slept at their place yesterday, and then this morning, that's Friday, November 26th, we I think we had coffee and we were chatting for a bit, and then by 8 a.m. we left for Buffalo. And then we drove, and Pittsburgh to Buffalo is around 3.5 hours. So we got here just before noon, and we were really happy to be back. The cats are really happy to have us back. They've been asking for attention and playing since we got back, but I don't mind that at all. Of course, they missed us and we missed them. So finally we're home. I decided I'd record today so that I just get this done, and then I have the weekend to myself and not doing anything. I can actually see cat hair flying all around me. Sorry if you can see that as well, but as you know, part of living with cats is inhaling cat hair. But yeah, so that was my entire week. It has been eventful, very tiring. Perhaps you can, I don't know if you can tell I'm tired. I'm sorry if I look a little frazzled or something, but I decided that I'd record today because otherwise tomorrow and day after I just want to do nothing, recover from my vacation. It was a tiring trip, mostly because of all the driving. I think we've never done this long of a drive before, but it was very successful. I think we had fun in New Jersey, we definitely had fun in the Smokies, and then we had fun in Pittsburgh, and now we're back. From Monday we start work. And I'm sorry if you can hear some crinkling. Oreo he found a plastic bag and he's sitting on it. But yeah, but I think it's, I've spoken everything about my trip. So if you stuck around, thank you for listening to everything. And I think now I'm going to talk about my stash acquisitions. So I'm actually going to share my stash acquisitions with you today, and I'm recording this bit before I record the rest of the episode on my vacation and everything, and I'm doing that so I can use the lighting because I have some yarn to show and I wanted to do it in better lighting. If I wait a little longer, I'm afraid it'll get too dark and then the yarn wouldn't show as nicely. So I would have already spoken to you about my trip if you're watching this in order. So I actually ended up going to the Smoky Mountain Spinnery store, and it's a beautiful yarn store, and I've already probably shown you pictures and videos from the yarn store. So since I was there, I had to pick up some yarn and support them, of course. So I got some yarn from the Smoky Mountain Spinnery, and so the yarn I got from the Smoky Mountain Spinnery is, firstly I bought this Juniper Moon Patagonia, which is an organic merino yarn. This is 100% wool. It's 380 2 yards in a 100-gram skein. So I think it's like a sport weight. It just lists as number 3 light, which I think is a sport weight in the US. It's a beautiful sandy color, and that's the name of the colorway. It's called Sand. It's a very beautiful neutral. I actually got 2 skeins of this. I really don't have anything in mind for it. I might use this either as color work, or I might make some accessories from it. I've never tried Juniper Moon Farm yarns, so I thought this would be a wonderful yarn to try, and it just feels so beautiful. Like I think it's definitely next to skin soft, but you can definitely tell that it's 100% wool. It does not really have a sheepy smell, but it definitely feels very woolly. So this is the first thing I purchased from the store. And then I found this really beautiful special alpaca yarn at their store. It has a handwritten label. If you see, it's not even like a printed label. The company is called Prime Alpaca. It's 8 ounces. I'll have to do math on what 8 ounces is. I think 4 ounces is like 100 grams. So this is like 200 grams. I'm gonna put it on the screen what the conversion is. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's 658 yards in 8 ounces, and the colorway is called Musk. It's a very beautiful brown, but like a lighter oatmeal-y, I don't know what the right word for this is. It's 100% alpaca. It's so soft. It's so beautiful. I really found this looks so beautiful. I saw this and I absolutely felt like I needed to try this alpaca yarn. I don't think I've ever knit with 100% alpaca, and since this is a substantial amount, like this is 660 yards, I thought I could just use one skein to make some accessories, maybe like mitts or something like that, like a hat or gloves, or I haven't decided. I just wanted to try it, so I got the single skein of Prime Alpaca. The next thing I bought is not yarn itself, but I bought these very beautiful lotion bars. This is Love+Leche. The website is called loveandleche.com. This is a rosemary and lavender fragrance. It's a all-natural body lotion in a bar. So if I'm just going to take the bar out of the thing, and I don't think you can see it, but it's 2 sheep. Like, is it sheeps? I think it may be. It's the head of 2 sheep on the lotion bar. Smells really nice, and I think you can just like rub it on your hands and then use it as a lotion bar. It's great for knitters, of course. So I bought this. It comes in this can, and it's like just placed in the can, so you can take it out, use it, and put it back. And it has a screw on top. So I really liked the fragrance. They had like these smaller samples there in the store, so I tried one of the samples, and I really liked it. So I thought I should buy some of this. It smells really nice. So these are the purchases I made at Smoky Mountains Spinnery. And then while we were away on the trip, one of our neighbors, who's this really sweet lady, she took care of the cats. She was feeding the cats every morning, and then another friend of mine was feeding them every evening. Because my neighbor's just like, she lives across our apartment, she was able to come in every morning before she left for work to feed the kitties. And she's really nice. She like gives us a lot of gifts for festivals, and anytime she buys anything for her cats, she'll buy some for mine. And she's I feel very lucky to have neighbors like that who you can rely on, and they can keep an eye on your apartment or your house while you're away. So I've really wanted to knit her something for a really long time, and this time she took care of the cats for a week, and I don't think I can really offer her money for it, because I think she's one of those people who'll be offended if I say, oh, how much can I pay you for this, because I do believe that she really does it just out of the generosity of her heart. So I decided I'd knit her something, because of course that's what I do. So I decided I'd knit her something, and I asked her if she'd like a pair of socks, or what would she like if I knit her something, and she said she'd like a scarf. So I think I'm going to knit a shawl for her, and she said the colors that she likes are blues and purples. And I bought Malabrigo Rios in this colorway called Vales Road. It's a beautiful tonal yarn with blues and purples, exactly what she asked for. I got 3 skeins of this, and I want to knit the hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli. I think this will make a really beautiful hipster shawl, and I showed my neighbor the shawl pattern, and she definitely really likes the pattern. So I think that's what I'm going to make for her using this yarn. I'm not sure if I'm going to cast on immediately. I do want to give it to her by Christmas, so I think I have to cast on immediately. But there are so many other things that I want to finish before I get another project on my needles. So we'll see when I actually end up casting this on, but that's another acquisition. So I mean, to be fair, this is an acquisition that I'm gifting, so it's not totally selfish, right? But I'm going to get the joy of knitting the shawl for her, so I'm really excited about that. So yep, those were my stash acquisitions. I actually also purchased a yarn advent or a holiday calendar back in July. Selena of Through the Wardrobe Yarn Company, who's based out of Bergen, Norway, has put up a beautiful what do you call that, inspiration pictures which dyers use to dye up yarn and everything. She put up a beautiful inspiration picture that she was using to dye her Sockvent. So it's like a yarn advent or a holiday calendar, but it's only for sock yarn. Like she wanted to she has a separate Christmas box, I believe, and the Sockvent was for 400-gram skeins of sock yarn, or yarn that you can knit socks with. And I really liked that idea. I preferred the 400-gram skeins instead of having so many minis. So I purchased that back in July when she had them for pre-order, and they arrived, and I sat on that box for a while. I didn't open anything, but then I couldn't wait any longer, and I really had to take a look at what beautiful yarn Selena had sent our way. And so I actually recorded an unboxing video of my Sockvent, and I'm going to put that video here. If you've purchased the Sockvent and you don't want to see, because of course I opened the whole box at once. I cannot do the weekly opening. That's not me. So I opened the entire Sockvent box at once, and I did an unboxing video, and I'm going to put that here, and you can watch it if you're interested. If not, that's okay too. But here's my Sockvent video. Hi everyone. So I'm doing my Sockvent unboxing. I purchased a Sockvent from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Company. Selena sent this beautiful box all the way from Norway, and I'm going to take a peek at what's inside. And I can't wait for December, so I'm doing the entire unboxing video right now. I'm at home today. It's kind of a dreary day. So you can see it's very cloudy, so I'm sitting right by the French window and I'm going to open this box. So there are a lot of packages in here and I obviously don't know. This is the first time I'm going to be opening them. So this one says open me first, so that's what I'm going to do. So this was the first package. It's the Sockvent 2021 and I'm hiding this portion of it which has some pattern download codes, but there's a candy cane, this is small candy, some very nice organic tea, and a very cute stitch marker. So pretty, I love that. And now I'm opening this number 1, so let's see what's in here. Oh wow, this is so pretty. It says sugar cookie. It's a merino sock DK. Oh, I've always wanted to try DK socks, but it's so hard to get like a nylon content, and then if it's just superwash merino, it doesn't wear well. Oh my god, this is so pretty. Oh my, I love it so much. Look at those purples and pinks and blues and greens. I love Selena's aesthetic. It's very pastel and very, very pretty. So here's her company name and the tag she puts on her yarn. So this is package 2. So the Sockvent was 400-gram skeins of yarn instead of minis, so I have 4 big packages and then some goodies. Okay, I'm hiding it because I want to reveal it. It's so pretty. Look at that. Oh wow, that is so soft. It's so soft. Oh my god, I love these minis. The colors are so pretty. Let's look. It's candy canes and silver lanes. Silky sock, 75 merino, silk and cashmere. My goodness, this is so soft. I don't think I want to make a sock from it. I think I want this around my neck. It's so soft. I love it so much. So this is package 3. It's pink. Oh wow, it's so pretty. And there's, can you see the sparkle on it? This one is sugar plum sparkle sock. It has some gold stellina. So beautiful. I love it so much. And finally we have this gorgeous peachy pink. I don't think the camera is picking up how beautiful this is. It has some really faint peach and pink shades on it. It's called pink velvet. It has alpaca in it. Oh wow, this is beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy with this purchase. It's so beautiful. This is all the yarn that came in my Sockvent. Oh wow, they look so good together. I don't think I can make socks with these. These are so soft. I'd really love to make a shawl or something. I think I have enough, and with the minis, the what do you say, the pop of color these minis will give. Oh, this will look so pretty. I really want to make something that I can wrap myself in. It's so soft. I love this one. This one is the softest of all. Finally, there's package 5. I mean, from the shape of it, you can tell what it is. Look at this sock blocker. It's so cute, and I love that it's like a custom for Sockvent, and it has through the wardrobe yarn company written on it. It's so pretty. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Selena. This is such a beautiful package, and I'm so glad I participated in Sockvent this year. Now I have to do pattern hunting to see what this beautiful yarn wants to become. Hi Oreo, do you like the Sockvent? Do you like it? It's so pretty. Hope you liked my Sockvent unboxing. I'm so happy I bought these. It was so nice to like have a surprise package, and then I got to open it all, and of course I opened all of them together. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I didn't have a lot of knitting content, but I had a lot to talk about my trip, and I hope you liked everything I shared with you and some of my works in progress. And I do have a lot of plans for the holidays. I have to knit a lot of things for the holidays, so I'm going to get going, I guess, and keep you updated on what the progress is with the rest of my projects. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please do leave a comment if you liked it. And I always read all the comments and I do respond to all of them. So and thank you so much for like leaving such beautiful comments and encouraging me so much and supporting my knitting podcast. And I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. Happy crafting. Bye.